So today we've got a 2010 Kia Sportage. It's the 2 litre petrol engine with 117,000 miles on the clock. So we're doing the annual oil and filter change today, except we've had a bit of a role reversal. I'm going to be doing the camera work rather than the spanner work, and the cameraman is going to be doing the spanner work, or attempting it. So we'll start by opening the bonnets. It's always a good idea, oil and filter change, to just pull the dipstick up a bit and take the oil filler cap off first, just to let the oil flow out smoothly and let the air back into the engine.
So, oil filler cap off.
Yep. And the dipstick pulled up a little bit. That's it, that's good enough. So we just drop the bonnet back down and take it up in the air. Struggle a little bit for height with this one because it's quite a high car and it's got roof rails on it, so looks like my assistant's going to have to crawl around under this one. So here we are under the vehicle. That's the sump bung just here, 17mm. Now we're going to use a single hex socket on a ratchet. Good idea to use one of those if you've got it. You've got a lot less chance of slipping. So hopefully we can crack that loose and drop some oil out now.
Okay.
The engine isn't too hot, so the oil won't come out really fast, but make sure you're ready with a drainer anyway. Hotter the oil is, the faster that shoots out. That's it. So we'll leave that to drain down for a little while. So next, to tackle the filter, which as you can see is just a spin-on filter as opposed to the paper element cartridge ones that you can get. Now it's located on here, just there. You normally just do them up hand tight, but over time they can stick a little bit. You could take this plastic tray off underneath, but we've devised a way which will hopefully stop any oil spilling onto that one once it's been cracked loose. A bit of a cardboard ducting, the old oil filter box. But we'll crack the oil filter loose first and then put that in before we spin that off. You can get all different kinds of oil wrenches, but I tend to use these slide grips, which, you know, they're pretty good for most things. A little bit awkward to show, but hopefully you can just crack that loose.
that's now hand loose.
And put the special tool in there.
Super confident about that.
I think it needs a bit more of a crease in the middle, like that. It's just to help stop making a mess all over that plastic under tray, really.
Let's see what we got here. Here it comes. Oh,
Perfect. Maybe just let that drain for a minute and won't take long. And you'll get a bit more come out as the oil filter comes off.
here she goes.
Hopefully we got a majority of it in the bucket. We'll leave that to drain down for a little while and clear up our mess. So it's been dripping here for a little while now. Hopefully you can see up there where the oil filter goes. So at this stage we've got the new filter. Just going to put a smear of oil around the black rubber seal on there. Just helps to stop it from sticking. Then just spin that on and do it up hand tight. Lovely. That's it, that's that bit done. Next thing would be to put the sump bung back in. They usually got a washer or a seal on them. And they're normally fine to use again, unless they've been crushed and split, but that one looks fine.
And this would just nip it up, right?
Yeah, just
Not
nip
too
that
tight.
up, not too tight, because it is all aluminium. So I'll retrieve the torch from out of there, and then we can drop it down and start putting some oil in, once we've had a little clean up. Okay, so we're back on the ground. We're going to start by putting 4.5 litres of engine oil in. It does actually say this holds around about 5.9 litres, which seems quite a lot, but I may be wrong. Always better to start with a smaller amount and build it up slowly rather than putting in too much and then having to go through the rigmarole of draining it down and getting in a bit of a mess because you're putting the sump bung back in while it's still draining. So we'll start with 4.5 and see where that gets us.
So dipstick out.
Yeah,
Just try and
dipstick
stop
still
plugging.
out, yeah, to let the air out of the engine. But just keep an eye on the bottom of the funnel. Sometimes the slow fillers they have a habit of backing up the funnel a bit. Oh, that's starting to fill up around the neck of the funnel there. That's okay, it didn't spill over the edge, so.
That's 4.5, it said.
That's it. And we can always just dip it now to get a rough idea that, and make sure it's got enough on the dipstick to run it up. Clearly once you run it up the level will go down a bit because it's got an oil filter to fill up here.
Right, so there's the minimum and the maximum marks.
2 dots, yeah. Yeah, that's way up the dipstick. So that's it's safe to start up, let the oil circulate, and then we'll let it stand for a little while and dip it again, see where it's at. Sounds good, and the oil light's gone out. Don't need to rev it, just let it tick over. But yeah, that'd be good. Right, we'll let that stand for a little while and check the level again shortly. So, exactly why you shouldn't go ahead and put the full amount in that's quoted. The guide we were following said 5.9, which seemed a lot of oil. So we only put 4.5 in. And unfortunately that's over the maximum. I think it is more like 4 litres. So now we've got to attempt to drain a bit down and hopefully not get too messy. Glad I'm not doing this bit. You don't really want to take the sump plug right out because we only need to drain out about half a litre. So we've just got to be ready to put the bung back in once we think enough has come out. Probably put that on the floor. Better to drain a little bit too much out because we can always top it back up again. Otherwise we'll be up and down with the ramp draining all afternoon. somewhere around there, I guess. So we'll just get that nipped up, drop it back down, and see what the dipstick level is. Okay, so we've drained a little bit off, nipped up the sump bung. Hopefully this is either a bit too low or spot on. That looks pretty good. If you turn the dipstick over, yeah, you can see that that is bang on the mark there.
Yep.
Brilliant. So we'll give it a little run, make sure there's no leaks. Apart from that, just about brings that video to an end.